Hello bachcho, welcome back to another video. Today in this video we're going to start with the poem Rain on the Roof that's written by the poet Coates Kinney. Okay, so let's get started. Now the poet is telling us that if you see the sky covered with dark clouds and it's going to start rain after that, have you ever listened to the patter of the soft rain? Of course, all of you must have listened to the pattering sound of the raindrops on the rooftop. So, different thoughts keep flashing your mind, right? So, we're going to read the poem and find out what the poet is dreaming of while he's listening to the pattering of the raindrops, okay? Let's get started with the first stanza. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres. Now, what does this mean? Now, the poet is actually, describing the entire atmospheric scenario before the rain is going to begin, correct? Now, what is he trying to tell us? That the sky is covered with what is this humid shadows hover? What does it mean? It means the dark, rain-filled clouds, okay? Dark, rain-filled clouds, they are hovering over, they are just, completely encircling the sky over all the starry spheres. And they are just, so empowering that they have hidden the stars in the sky. Okay, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. Now here we have beautiful lines which says that there is a melancholy darkness. Now what do you mean by this word melancholy darkness? It's basically, referring to the sadness. When you see that there is all black clouds all over the sky, you don't see the stars, you don't see the light anywhere. So, there is a kind of a sad element, right? Now, when somebody is sad, whenever, somebody is going through a very dark phase of their life, what is the emotion, that comes out of their heart? They start weeping, right? They start weeping. And here, we've been described here as the tears are the raindrops, that are falling from the sad darkness that has hovered all over the atmosphere. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed. Now, as the rain is starting to fall gently on the roof, the poet is actually experienced bliss. That means he's experienced a lot of happiness, very exotic moment. He's really enjoying that particular moment. And he's pressing the pillow close to his head. And where is the poet lying? He's lying on a bed, and the bed is inside a small chamber of a cottage. And what does he do while he's lying on the bed? He's just listening to the pattering of the raindrops that are striking on the rooftop, and he's enjoying that melody, that music of the nature. Okay, so what are the types of the raindrops that are falling overhead? They're very soft, very gentle raindrops that are falling on the rooftop of the poet's cottage, where he's lying on the bed and enjoying the entire scenario. Okay, so let's move on to the next stanza. Every tinkle on the shingles. Now, what does this line mean? Tinkle refers to a very beautiful ringing sound of the raindrops that are falling on the rooftop. And shingles, they are the red colored or the black colored tiles, that we generally see on a sloping roof of a house, right? Correct? Got this line? So what does this phrase mean? That every soft musical sound, right? We are referring to the raindrops as a very soft raindrops that we have already covered in the first stanza, last line. So every soft musical sound made by the raindrop is falling where? It's falling on the rooftop tile. So it's a very gentle sound of the rain. It's creating a very soothing, a very pleasant atmosphere for the poet, and that's echoing in his heart. It's time and again, reminding him of the beauty of the nature, right? And 1,000 dreamy fancies. Now here we come to the dream world of the poet, because he's he's completely immersed into his imaginative thoughts. You can just say that he's daydreaming here. Okay, so that number of thoughts come into his mind. They're very gentle thoughts, very imaginative, very creative ideas into busy being start. Now what does this mean? See, the dreams or thoughts, they're very active, and they are actually coming to life, and they are occupying his imagination like the busy workers, they begin their task. So similarly, these thoughts are also coming to life, and they are occupying his imagination. right? So what does it mean? That as the poet is listening to the rain, his mind is completely full of imaginative thoughts, correct? There are a lot of dreams, a lot of thoughts that are, being created in his mind, and these thoughts, which were once passive, you never realize about those thoughts. Now they have, awakened, they have been awakened up, and they have become very, very clear in his mind, very vivid in his mind. Okay, got it? Okay, let's move further. And 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into the woof. Now, what is this 1,000 recollection? It refers to the memories. The poet recalls number of moments from his past. Now, what does weave air threads into woof refers to? See, these are the memories, which are very, very fragile, very delicate, just like the threads of the air. Something, you can just refer to as invisible. You can't see the threads of the air because they are so delicate and fragile. And weave means to, bring together, to interlace together. Into woof, what does this into woof word means? It means it's, the entire thoughts have been weaved into a kind of a fabric. There is a fabric of thought. You can just relate like that. There is a fabric of thought and memory that has been interlaced, got it? That has been weaved, and the poet is completely engrossed. It's a complete picture of the past that he's, just experiencing in his mind. As I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof, that means the sound of the rain is, is triggering all the fancies, all the memories, and of course, the raindrops are creating a very soft, a very rhythmical sound as they fall on the rooftop. Correct? Got it? Chalo. Let's move on to the next stanza. Now in memory comes my mother, and she used in years agone to regard the darling dreamers ere she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I listen to this refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. Now in memory comes my mother. See, now we have already understood that the poet is completely engrossed in his thoughts, and the thoughts are of the past, right? A past may, what is he, trying to recollect? He's trying to recollect the memory of his mother. That means he's remembering his mother. Her image is appearing in his mind. These memories have been triggered. Just giving you, little explanation side by side, because I guess you can easily pick up the explanation when you are revising the poem, and you get to know what particular words you need to use when you are describing the artices, because, in the exam you will get the artices, and based on the artices you will get the questions, which are either 1 marker or 2 marker, not more than that, right? So, what we were discussing? We were discussing that the poet is remembering the memory of his mother, right, which is appearing in his mind. And these memories have been triggered by none other than rain. Okay. This line is actually expressing a lot of emotion. There is nostalgia. Okay, clear? Okay, and she used in years agone. Now, what do you mean by these lines? That the poet recalls, that how her mother had certain habits and actions, that he remembered when she was alive. Now, this is reflecting on the distance of the time. He's longing for those, moments that he had spent with his mother long time back, to regard the darling dreamers ere she left them till the dawn. Now, regard the darling dreamers means we are referring to the darling dreamers as the sleeping children. Now, who are the sleeping children here? Of course, the poet. So, he is looking at with a lot of love and care. Regard means there is a lot of love and care which is being referred here to the sleeping children, and ere means before. Right? That means before. She left them till the dawn. Okay, तो mama क्या करती है? She is actually watching over her children before she goes to sleep herself. Correct? ठीक है? Now, let's get the whole meaning. I mean, this, that fond look on me, the poet is trying to, experience the beautiful, look on the face of his mother, and how fondly, how beautifully, how lovingly is she looking at the poet when she is making the poet asleep. So there's a lot of maternal love here, right? A mama's love, a typical mama's love, which is very comforting, very protective, very caring. Okay, and the poet is actually feeling her presence. So as I listen to this refrain means there is, what is refrain? It's a poetic device. As I told you, I'll be discussing with the poetic devices, but since the poet has mentioned this word here, what does it mean? It means, the repetition of a musical sound. Those pattering of the raindrops on the roof. That is a refrain, the constant patter. So the sound of the rain is like a music that is being played upon the shingles, and he's absolutely loving the pattering of the raindrops on the rooftop. Correct? So they are creating a beautiful music and a natural lullaby, that is awakening the poet's emotions and the memories. ठीक है बेटा, clear हो गया? चलो, then let's get to all the poetic devices stanza by stanza. Okay, then let's get back to the first stanza and let's get started with the poetic devices. Now here we have the first line, and here we have this word called humid and hover. Now both of them are beginning with the consonant sound of H, right? And similarly the starry spheres, they start with S and S, that is again, consonant sound. So which device do we have here in the first stanza? This is alliteration, that is a repetition of the first letter minimum 2 times in the same line. All right. Now, as I told you that melancholy darkness, now this melancholy feeling, this emotion is being attached only to the humans, right? But here this, this human feeling is being attached to this darkness. So what device do we get here? We get personification. What is personification? That is the human qualities, they are attributed to the non-living things, right? Now, when you read the whole stanza, I guess you must have, vividly created a vision in your mind, right? All the description of the clouds, the darkness, the raindrops. So this device here, which, is creating a very clear picture in your mind, is known as imagery. And of course, what is better? The tick, 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 tick drops of the rain which are falling on the rooftop, that is again referring to the sound that is being produced by the falling raindrops. So what device do we have here? This was number 2. The number 4 here is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a device that refers to the sound of a particular object. And here is the sound of the rain. Fine. Okay, let's move on to the stanza 2. Again, bachon, you will get the same devices here. Let's have this busy being alliteration. Okay, again you will have the imagery. The whole stanza, is giving you a very clear picture, a very clear vision of what you are reading, and you are creating an image of it, right? And of course here you will also get another alliteration in this line, where we have weave and woof, that are being again represented by a consonant sound of W. Correct? Now let's move on to the third stanza, and here again we have darling dreamers as an alliteration, again the repetition of the same letter, the same consonant sound in the same line, right? And of course we have again imagery that is being used here. So these are the poetic devices, which we have covered here. That is, one is alliteration, personification, imagery, and onomatopoeia. These are the basic 4 devices that are being used repetitively in the whole poem. And what is the theme of the poem? If you're being asked to write down upon the theme of the poem, it's going to be very nostalgic, right? It's bringing all the old memories back to the poet. It's very comforting because, the poet is actually feeling his mother by his side, and how beautifully, she's having a very gentle and a very generous look on the poet while he's asleep. And there's a lot of, a beautiful bond that's being explained between a mother and a child, right? And of course, the beauty of the nature cannot be skipped, because this is what, is creating the beautiful memories in the mind of the poet. So, these are the different themes, that we are studying in this poem. The nostalgic feeling, the comfort of the mother and the child bond, the beauty of the nature, and the tone is very, very emotional. It's really having an emotional connect with the readers, of course, and it's very reflective, very thought-provoking, very calm, and very, very beautifully expressed, right? So we end this video here, and we'll meet in another video with a new chapter. Till then, stay connected and stay tuned to my channel, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.